think it should really be up to Mr. Womack. It says evaluation, and we have restraints on us because of the contract, so I think he should tell us what he would like.
I do agree with that. That's insightful. Mr. Womack, if you care to answer.
So my review should have been on or about May 8th. That has not occurred, and it didn't occur because the board changed the rules at the last second. It's also a violation of my contract, because my contract says I should be judged by the charter. That is no longer what my review says. As approved by the majority of this board, okay? Would I feel more comfortable 30 days? Sure, my attorneys would as well. But I'd like to see that Bodman stuff, which I'm sure is an attack against me of some kind. I'd like 30 days with that before we review me as well. I'm sure I won't get it. I'm sure it'll be handed to me at the review. As far as the June 1st date, look, I'm stressed out enough as this is. I don't know if I'm gonna be here in a couple weeks or not. Because this board just, I don't know, you can't give me a straight answer about whether I'm doing the job correctly. Ms. Glissman, Ms. McCarthy, I appreciate you guys' support, which you've shown me in the past. But man, working for this board is so confusing. I don't know if what I do today is correct, because tomorrow I'll be told it's wrong. It's virtually impossible to do right by this board. I get told by one person to do one thing, told something different by a different person, and then I get judged by both sides. So whether we hold it on June 1st or July 1st or October 1st, I really don't know. I just don't know if it's gonna be fair at any date and time.
Okay. Mr. Womack, those are some pretty bold claims. To state that the board is violating your contract in multiple instances to the abuse of yourself, which I do believe is a violation of your contract itself as a statement, okay? And you've mischaracterized board direction, and you've made some claims about confusing direction. No single one of us has unilateral authority to direct you. We've directed you through these meetings, through motions, and they've been very clear and documented in the minutes. If there's anybody that is directing you outside of these meetings and causing that confusion, then I would like to have you produce proof of burden to this body. Ms. Petrie.
Mr. Womack, last year your review was on June 2nd. I remember it perfectly because my mom had a stroke 40 minutes before that and I didn't get to attend or give any, they were going over your contract again. So that date wasn't upsetting to you last year. So this is the same thing. We're doing your review, we're talking to you. Lots of assumptions are being made by many up here. Lots of assumptions. Once again, we won't tell you about what the meaning of it is, but I'm floored. And frankly, the five of us give direction. We all have different personalities and contribute differently to this board. We all have different expectations. That's why we do a review. Do you review your staff? Yes, that's a question, Mr. Womack. Do you review your staff? I'm just saying, this is how you do it. It's a lot of, it's a spectacle intentionally.
I'm sorry, could I respond to that?
Yes.
So yes, I review my staff.
Mhm.
However, I do not change their job descriptions right before I do it.
Yes.
Mr. Womack, how have we changed your job description? That's another mischaracterization, I believe.
I think a jury would see it differently.
I'm sure you do feel that way.
Let's call the question, please. I mean, I'm just trying to get some direction here and give direction.
Again, Mr. Womack, I do believe that statement just violated your contract as well. When you accuse us of wrongdoing without a burden of proof, now maybe you have it, and I'm open to being corrected. But I don't believe that you do, because I do believe that you're referring to this performance evaluation, which is steeply tied
Point of order,
to
sir.
I
the
support
charter.
Mr. Atwood's motion.
Point of order?
I called the question.
There was support. You must
All
immediately
right.
place it before the floor.
Yeah, you
There's
have
no
support
debate.
now.
There's no debate. You must immediately place it before the floor.
Roll call. To call the question to, what's the motion, Madam Clerk?
Call the question.
To call the question.
We'll call the question to vote. So I guess we'll get to what we're voting on when we get through the call to question. So we'll do a roll call on that.
Commissioner Brady,
Yes.
Commissioner Glistman,
Yes.
Commissioner McCarthy,
Yes.
Commissioner Petrie,
Yep.
Commissioner Atwood.
Yes.
Motion carries. Now, what's the motion that we are
So
voting?
I have the motion, who moved it, I didn't catch the second on this.
That's me.
Thank you, was to postpone the city manager review to June 1st, 2026.
Okay. We'll do a roll call on that. There's no,
Commissioner Glistman,
Yes.
Commissioner McCarthy,
Yes.
Commissioner Petrie,
Can you repeat it to me again, Ramona? Like exact words.
postpone the city manager review to June 1st, 2026.
Madam Clerk, there was some discussion about it being contingent to Mr. Womack's
Voting.
approval.
Well,
We're
I-
voting.
Well, I don't know if that's okay
What-
with
Called the
him.
question.
Was that not part of the motion?
I didn't record that, I'm sorry.
Okay. All right.
We're voting, sir.
Yeah, I understand you're voting, but as presiding officer, I'm going to step in here because I do believe that we're
Point of
voting
order.
on something that will directly violate Mr. Womack's contract.
Mr. Womack, just point of order, please.
It's not part of the motion.
What isn't part of the motion?
Mr. Womack's approval.
We can do that if we want to. We're voting on
He
it.
just audibly told us that he doesn't care.
It's not part of the motion. I am going to step in here and say that we are violating Mr. Womack's contract if we pass this motion.
You don't know what the
I am
vote is
I am
yet.
going
You
to-
don't know what the vote is yet.
Why just sit in?
Mr. Francis,
We have 2 yes votes. You don't know what the outcome of the vote is.
Mr.
You're
Brady,
interrupting
you're
for
out
no
of order.
reason. You're out of order.
you're out of order. Mr. Francis, as presiding officer, I see something happening that might put the legality, the city at risk. As presiding officer, I'm stepping in and I am speaking up about that. Mr. Francis,
You have veto power?
can you please enlighten us as to what the proper procedure is when when the presiding officer sees a vote going in a direction that might violate and put the city at risk?
My recollection, Mayor, consistent with the clerk's citation of the motion, was that the discussion about the date came after the motion was made. So I do agree the motion on the floor is to June 1. I'm not sure, and I'm sorry, I'm giving a little background here, but I'm not sure that I agree with Commissioner Atwood that Mr. Womack agreed to June 1.
Okay.
I do agree, under the contract, the only way you can read it is that he's entitled to 30 days. I do agree that you have to vote on the motion. I do agree that there's a way to rescind the vote if not everybody understood that and the motion passes.
Okay. All right, thank you, Mr.
You're welcome.
Francis. And
Mr.
so
Mayor.
with that understanding, Ms. McCarthy,
Per Robert's Rule 4.42, I would like to rescind and change my vote to a no.
granted, Madam Clerk?
Mr. Mayor, I would
Yes.
like to rescind my vote also.
Granted?
Mr. Mayor, I haven't cast
All
my
right.
vote yet.
Madam Clerk, do you have those corrections? Then please proceed with the roll call.
Commissioner Petrie,
No.
Commissioner Atwood,
Yes.
Commissioner Brady,
No.
All right, motion fails. Sticking with this agenda item, because it seems that Mr. Francis has enlightened us that we should have a motion to supersede a previous unanimous consent action that this body has taken in a previous meeting. I will, as chair, entertain a motion to postpone Mr. Womack's performance evaluation until 30 days from the date he receives all of his reviews, pending his own decision to push the date forward if he so pleases. But he can communicate that to us either during this meeting or during the discussion of this motion. May I have a motion?
Mr. Mayor, I make the motion that we postpone the city manager performance review until the city manager has the 30-day window to review his performance reviews, or unless he communicates he wants to have his performance review meeting prior to the 30-day period ending.
Is there support?
Support.
Motion by Commissioner McCarthy, support by Commissioner Glissman. Madam Clerk, do you have that motion?
Give me 1 second.
Mm-hmm.
To postpone the city manager review until the city manager has 30 days to review the reviews, or unless he communicates that he would like to have the meeting prior to the 30-day ending.
Very good. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, Mr. Francis.
if I can add one thing, and just so the commission's aware, I do believe Mr. Womack's entitled to reasonable notice of the actual date of the review. So I know there was no date set here, but that needs to be something that's talked about.
So 30 days from today, which is when they're being turned in, or tomorrow if he doesn't get them after the meeting. If we just look out at the calendar, should we amend the motion to include 30 days from today's action, or?
Sorry, Mayor, I think we're better served if we have a date,
Okay,
presuming that, that all the evaluations are turned in.
okay, provided that they're all turned in. We'll make a, Ms. McCarthy, if you would consider a friendly amendment to your motion. Today is the 18th, let's say he doesn't get them in his hands till tomorrow, the 19th. That puts us out to,
This puts us out to June 17th, which is past our second meeting.
yeah. We could do, so 17th is the 30 days, so we could either do, well, we could do any of the days after that with a special meeting. That's simple enough. I think we should just choose one and he can communicate to us. At least he'll have notice from us, a date, and he can communicate to us after that. But per Mr. Francis's recommendation, we should include a date even if it gets changed.
Mr. Mayor, one more thing.
Sure.
If Mr. Womack has any known conflicts with that date, I'd ask that we ask him that right now.
All right.
Okay.
Which date are you proposing?
Well, the date after that would be May 18th, which is a Thursday.
June 18th,
Or
yeah.
we could do it Monday, June 22nd. I'm not trying to stick something on there to make it hard for anybody. I'm just saying, June 22nd is a Monday. We typically meet on Mondays.
Mm-hmm.
It could be a zoning board meeting on the 22nd, because it's the
Yeah, I don't know.
fourth Monday.
Do any of the staff know if that's a zoning board meeting?
It is the fourth Monday,
Okay, then it is.
so we want to
Well,
go back.
and they may not have one, but
Yeah, they don't usually. So can I, Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a friendly amendment.
Mm-hmm.
I would amend it to say, can you read that back to me, Ramona, because it's such a wild ride.
Postpone the city manager review until the city manager has 30 days to review the review,
Plural reviews.
or until he communicates that he would like to have the meeting prior to 30 days.
Okay, so after, he has 30 days, so my amendment would be, and then you'll read it back to me, has 30 days to review the performance reviews. We would set the performance date on June 18th, or earlier, per the request of Mr. Womack. Can you read that back and see if that sounds like it makes sense?
So he's not gonna get him until tomorrow.
Right, but I thought I counted out from that, so
Oh,
just,
maybe
let me
there's
just,
31 days made up by.
I did 19. 13, 14, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 30 days, tomorrow through 30 days is the 17th. So if we set it for the 18th, it's day 31. Or sooner, if Mr. Womack requested a date earlier than June 18th.
Okay.
And if you would read that back, please.
Mr. Mayor, could there be a time put on that as well?
6:30.
Sorry.
No, I'm still back on, sorry, Mr. Mayor, whether I have conflicts or not.
As well.
Okay.
Would we not add the time? We have the date and the time. That would be the motion. Then we go to discussion and he could, then Mr. Womack could tell us he has a conflict for that date. I guess my question is, do we ask Mr. Womack now before the motion what days he has available? I don't understand how to resolve this without it just continuing to leapfrog forward or over. We're just trying to solidify a date. So I don't know how to, maybe perhaps Mr. Francis could give us a suggestion of how we resolve this kind of standoff obstacle to get a date onto the calendar, when we know that June 18th would be the first day past the 30 days.
Mr. Francis?
Yeah, a little bit abnormal. Normally, you're correct, Commissioner McCarthy, the motion's made and then you have discussions, but I could see this being in a vicious circle. I think in this circumstance, if the chair is okay with it, I think some discussion about availability would be appropriate prior to the motion being made. And candidly, it probably goes for the commission as well.
Mr. Chair.
I'm fine with that, Mr. Francis. Mr. Atwood?
Mr. Womack, if I could, Mr. Chair, ask Mr. Womack a
Yes.
question. Would you be available for June 1st to do your evaluation, or June 15th, which is our regular scheduled meeting in June?
At this point, I would say that the only dates that I do not have a conflict would be the dates that we have regularly scheduled meeting with the city commission.
Could I follow up a question?
Yes.
Would June 15th be appropriate, if you're willing to waive your 30 days to look over the information that you've received from your evaluation?
I'm not opposed to the date, but I would reserve all my previous statements and arguments.
Which date?
So, Mr. Womack is saying that he's looking for a date for an already established meeting, which would be June 1st, June 15th, July 6th, or July 20th.
I'm sorry. June 1st.
First, second, third Monday of the month. June 1st, June 15th, July 6th, and July 20th, if I am correct. Not sure if Monday is, I don't think that's it's a holiday, so.
So Mr. Womack would prefer when? All right, so Mr. Womack, are you agreeable to June 1st?
As I've indicated multiple times before, I'm agreeable to that date. I reserve all my previous arguments and statements.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
it should be a day after June 18th.
Yes. July 6th or July 1st.
Mr. Francis,
Yes, Mayor.
if it's a day after July, if it's a day after June 18th, and we have come under compliance with the 30-day provision, then we can set a special meeting. What is the hesitation with that?
I don't have a hesitation with a special meeting, Mayor.
Okay,
I'm sorry if I stated any confusion. It needs to be after June 18th.
I need to know if we set a special meeting after June 18th, for example, on the Monday or the Friday that was proposed by Commissioner McCarthy, is there some form of conflict or risk that you perceive?
I would again, no, but I think Mr. Womack has the right to be at the meeting. If he has a known conflict with that date, that's what I would ask. There's no problem with the dates in and
Yeah.
of themselves.
What date currently is in the motion, Madam Clerk?
June 18th.
June 18th, which is Thursday. Mr. Womack, do you have a conflict with
One moment, sir.
June 18th?
Mr. Francis is telling us to do it past the 18th.
Oh, past the
So we have
18th,
next
okay,
week.
so
So
then,
we'll go into the next week since that's.
so what would you want, the 22nd?
That's the day of the possible, I'm so sorry to be talking out of turn, Mr. Mayor. That is the day of a possible zoning meeting, though they haven't met forever.
Okay. Mr. Womack, do you have any known conflicts with June 22nd, 23rd?
Mr. Mayor, I have a known conflict with all dates that are not a already scheduled regular meeting of the city commission.
Can you provide what those known conflicts are?
No.
Mr. Francis, if there's not sufficient evidence of a known conflict, I will remind the city manager that he serves at the pleasure of this commission.
I believe the will of the commission would be to find a date that would work for Mr. Womack.
Well, we're trying to do that, but it seems that we're at an impasse.
Mr. Mayor, I also have conflicts other than dates that are regularly scheduled for the meeting.
That's fine. You're, you're welcome to express that and be recognized for the floor, but in the interim, you're out of order, which we can document.
I thought we were in formal discussion as a
Ms.
small
Westman.
board as well. I'm sorry, that was my understanding.
Mr. Mayor, I'm looking at the calendar here, and it has to be after June 18th, and City Manager Womack has a conflict, except for our regularly scheduled meetings.
Mhm.
So the very next scheduled meeting would be Monday, July the 6th.
Okay.
So I propose that could be the date for the evaluation meeting.
That's pretty close to the holiday.
Yeah.
Does staff have that day off, or are we pushed to 7th, or where does that
Do you have a day off?
fall?
No, we're here.
Okay, we're here. Otherwise, July 20th is possible as well.
Yep.
Yeah, nothing more in June. I'm not seeing where we're unable to do a special meeting and do this in June so that we don't delay this any further. As Mr. Womack has stated several times, on or about May 8th, but we're pushing it even further down the road. So, Ms. McCarthy,
Ramona has verified that staff is here on Monday, July 6th. It meets all the contractual obligations. It is the same day as a city meeting, so there can be no qualms about, we're all expected to be here July 6th to do something. I mean, whatever we're talking about, voting on rubber tires for the park, we're expected to be here. So July 6th would be a good day because everybody's there. I'm gonna, it's already contentious, and I just think we just wanna give him his performance review. And so I just was hoping that maybe we could,
9/26. We need to, 9/26, let's see right here. We need to take a recess. May I have a motion and support for that?
I move that we take a recess.
I second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
Motion carries. We are resumed session. Ms. McCarthy, you might, unless we're still working on the date as a friendly amendment to, I think, what's already built to be a pretty well-rounded motion, I would ask that you would consider, if you're pushing towards July 6th, to consider a special meeting on July 6th at 8 a.m. Many of our boards, like the DDA and TIFA, all meet at that time here regularly. I think that we would like to keep this apart from the regular meeting, and one agenda item, as Mr. Francis had suggested to me during recess, would be sufficient for a special meeting.
Since we have changed the verbiage on this a few times, can my friendly adjustment, my friendly amendment adjustment, just start from the beginning and read through? Can I do that, Ramona? Thank you. Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to postpone the city attorney performance review.
Stop.
City manager.
City manager,
Thank you.
sorry, thank you for stopping me, it takes a village. Motion to postpone the city manager performance review to allow Mr. Womack 30 days to review the submitted performance reviews for an employment review meeting to be scheduled as a special meeting on July 6th at 8 a.m.
All right. Ms. Glissman, do you still support the friendly amended motion?
Yes.
Okay. Motion made by Commissioner McCarthy, supported by Commissioner Glissman. Any discussion? Mr. Brady?
Yeah, Mayor Hing just went back and had a whole conversation with our city attorney, and that's how that whole conversation just came about. He just went back there and discussed options and all those kind of things, and tried to figure out how I don't know what his conflict is with the 6th at a regular time, or just 5:30 just before it, but he's got some conflict, I would imagine, and then just went and had that whole conversation. That's why I went back and sat in that room to hear that. I don't appreciate when the comments that are happening between the city administrative head and the city attorney are happening behind closed doors. I don't like it. To that point, Mr. Womack has asked to see whatever's gonna happen with Bodman within 30, he didn't care about when the dates are. He wants 30 days to find out what the Bodman stuff is about. And I really think it would behoove us, if there's something there, I'm speaking to my fellow commissioners, if there's something there, surely the man deserves an opportunity to see something before his review. I don't understand why we can't follow up with this motion with something, some kind of verbiage that calls Bodman to the room, or demands a special, or demands a written opinion, something. I would ask if we try to put it on with this, or if not, immediately after this, that we owe Mike something, so that he can know what Bodman is doing, because I have no clue what Bodman is doing. I have no clue.
Mr. Francis? In your view, is there a liability or some policy being broken when the presiding officer speaks to you privately?
No, I have private conversations with various individuals, staff, departments.
Commissioners?
About city business.
Yeah. Is there a liability if it is about city business?
All my conversations are about city business.
Okay. I'll appreciate if commissioners continue to heed the point of order that I raised earlier and ask that we abide by injecting personal opinion and mischaracterizations of city business or its officials. The mayor speaking to the attorney and on the side privately, there is no wrongdoing in that. Mr. Brady, I don't appreciate the mischaracterizations in the way that you present to the public as if you have some kind of aha moment against me.
It just looked weird.
It is proper business. You seek to frustrate and delay and to cast mischaracterizations. And I won't tolerate it anymore. You were out of order with that. And we'll document that as the second out of order, mischaracterizing and injecting private opinions towards officials of this board.
Mr. Mayor, are your opinions and mischaracterizations about me and my intentions, are those also subject to that same standard?
I said earlier when I raised the point of order that they were, and that I may have violated them a couple times this evening along with everybody else on this board. But they weren't called to point of order at that time. If they were, I would have sustained them as I had sustained some previous
Then I would-
legitimate points of order of Mr. Atwood's.
I would make a point
Okay.
of order right now that your comments about me just now also violated that same standard.
And I disagree. I'm holding you to account for your mischaracterizations, and in order to do so, I have to call the facts. Just because you don't like it doesn't make it a mischaracterization. All right, so we're at the motion. Ms. McCarthy?
Yes, so I need a little clarity, because something was just, we're getting this motion, just seems to grow legs and keep growing in size and scope. So Commissioner Brady then said something about, can the Bodman decision be here or there or somewhere else? And I just need us to know clarity. I had asked earlier, is there a way that we can get a decision from Bodman to get that finalized? And then Mr. Brady, or Commissioner Brady is now saying, is it gonna happen on this date? What date? I just think this is the performance review, period.
Yeah.
I think the Bodman,
Written opinion.
opinion is a separate element from the performance, I don't know, but I'm just trying to get this done so that we got a date,
Mm-hmm.
so that we're all heading in the same direction. I think that's only fair that Mr. Womack know a date and be able to get the performance reviews tomorrow so that he can move forward.
Yep.
I just-
Okay. Ms. Cosin?
I seconded it because we had discussion afterwards, but I was curious about the 8 AM timing, and can all the commissioners come at 8 AM on the 6th?
I can.
I
would-
can.
I would prefer not to. I would prefer to do
Mr.
it
Atwood.
later.
I have a full-time job, I cannot.
All right, so we would have quorum. Mr. Atwood?
If I may ask Ramona a question, just for my own clarification on how we got here. Ms. Ramona, is that, okay? When did you first email the mayor the evaluation form?
I didn't email it to him, I handed it to him in person. It was
Remember what date that was?
the end of April, I don't know what the actual.
I might have it documented somewhere.
It was not the end of April, because that's when we received the actual form from the mayor, the one that was revised. I think.
I don't know, I'm sorry,
No, you're okay. I didn't mean to put you on the spot either.
thank you.
No problem. I'm just trying to get to how we got to this timing and how it got all thrown off. I'm gonna keep coming back to, that you took it upon yourself to change the review. And that's
Point
how
of
we
order.
got here. Who rules on your point of order, sir?
Well, the presiding officer does. In the point of order,
How do
I'm
you rule on your
gonna,
point of
I'm gonna bring it back to, well, then I'll just call you out of order.
That's
Okay?
fine.
Out of order.
Okay.
And I'm gonna bring it back to the form of discussion, the Roberts rules that that I've been citing with Mr. Brady, you're mischaracterizing the chain of events and the mayor's intent. I did not take it upon myself. I was asked by staff to do a task. This is not an interrogation of the staff. This is not a mischaracterization of your elected officials. This is not a courtroom, Mr. Atwood.
Sure.
Either you have something germane to the topic of setting the date of Mr. Womack's performance evaluation, or you're done. You don't have the floor
Thank you,
anymore.
sir. I had the question for Ramona. I'm trying to figure out when you received the original evaluation form.
And she answered you.
Not really. She tried, but she didn't.
That's
have the
her answer.
information.
You said you could look it
If
up.
she could get us that information eventually, that would be great.
All right.
But I'm not ordering her to do so. That would be.
Ms. McCarthy.
I have 2 points. The first point is, we already covered how the mayor was asked, handed the old performance review, and said if you want to make any changes, get back to me, whatever, and he did, because he was asked to do so. That was already covered in the last meeting. You're beating a dead horse again. I get it. Beat it, beat it, beat it, beat it, make a point, look good. I get it.
Mr. Mayor, point of order.
I'm not pointing to anybody, I get it. We're all tied into this, we're digging in.
If I think where she's going, it's sustained.
Thank
Ms.
you.
McCarthy, I haven't heard you address it to a specific person,
No.
Okay.
It's
but
frustrating.
it better not go that way.
But my second, so we've discussed it, it was clarified in the last meeting, but apparently, and sometimes, sometimes we hear like, I don't get a say, or nobody hears me, but we just don't always agree, so that was discussed in the last meeting. And if one commissioner can't be there at 8 AM, then I believe, can we move this, since it is a special meeting, can we move it to 5 PM on that same day prior to the meeting? And that way, everybody who has work, and I would check with Mr. Atwood before we jump into this, but I would try to get it that we can have all 5 commissioners, the attorney, I mean, I think, and the mayor, and Mr. Womack. I think that is fair, because I would believe that everybody has a voice and something they would like to say at that performance review. I've not been one of these before, so I'm just saying, is there any way we can get it not at 8 AM if Mr. Atwood has to work?
I too have a full-time job
Yes?
and a family, and I have commitments throughout the day as well.
Okay.
I'm not sure for certain, unless Mr. Atwood and I would like to sit down and compare our schedules, but it almost sounds like you're either gonna have Mr. Atwood or you're gonna have the mayor, but not both.
All right, that's fine. I will leave it where it's at. Thank
We
you.
do have someone who can run the meeting if you're not able to attend. Just throw
All right.
that out.
Mr. Mayor.
Or we can just change the date altogether.
Mr. Mayor.
It's not a.
So that it can be somebody, so that it can be on a time, maybe 5 o'clock, like Ms. McCarthy had suggested, where I can actually juggle in my work schedule, or you could juggle yours and it can be at 8 or something like that, and we can put it on a completely different day.
Are you asking?
Yeah, I am asking, what would you prefer to do?
5 is a little more manageable. I could leave a little bit early. It's the 8, because I don't know how long the meeting will be.
Right.
So I can't tell my work. I'm gonna be gone from 8 to noon or.
And get that calendar again. Would 5 on July 20th work? Would you be able to arrange that?
That's the regular scheduled meeting, correct?
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay. Ms. Petrie?
I just have a concern having it at 5. Will we be done in time? Because last time we were 20, or I don't know, 15 minutes into our regular meeting and people were out here.
That's
Is it-
difficult, and considering that we've already been on this topic with two separate motions since 8:29, which we took a 10-minute recess. We're still over 30 minutes on both motions. And we're expected to come in at 5 o'clock and be ready for our 6:30 meeting. I don't think so. Ms. McCarthy?
I have not sat through these previously, though some of the commissioners on this, this board have, on this commission. How long did they take in the past? Could I ask someone to give some feedback? Was it an hour? Was it 2 hours? Was it? Because we do have a 6:30 that has daily business, and so if an hour and a half isn't enough time, because they typically ran 2 hours, then we would have to do it at a different time that day to get it done. That's all.
Ms. Petrie?
Can I ask Ramona?
Yes.
Ramona, do you remember how long they've been? I mean,
They've taken as little as 20 minutes and they've gone as long as a couple hours.
Okay.
Maybe even into 3, it just depends.
okay.
When they've
I would
taken,
make a suggestion that you started at 4 o'clock.
when they've taken up to 3, what time were those started, and were they on the day of a regular meeting?
We went into a closed session at the request of that manager during a regular meeting, so it would be at the end of that meeting.
Okay. All right,
I think the worst one was we got out of here at midnight.
all right. All right, and we're trying to avoid that too. So there's multiple things we're juggling here. All right, where are we at? Ms. McCarthy?
Is it possible for anybody to be here at 4? I mean, it's July, so for the most part, but at 4 or 3:30 that day, is that a possibility to give it a 2 to 3 hour? I mean, if you do it at 3:30 and you're done in 2 hours, you got some time to like get your parts back together for the 6:30. If you do it at 4, that gives you 2.5 hours. I mean, that's doable. I mean, is 4 o'clock available for people on July 6th? I'm available. I'm available the whole day. You do it 8, you do it 7:30, I'm here. But I'm just trying to make sure that we capture everyone, because I think it's important that all the commissioners are available.
If we're going for July 6th, morning is better for me if we're gonna do a special meeting
So that's
instead of before. If we're going July 20th, then I'm more flexible to a 4 o'clock, but I still would prefer maybe 8 o'clock on that day as well. But, yeah, maybe that. Ms. Ramona?
That's probably gonna be a fairly light agenda for that July 6th, because we're only open Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday the week before.
Mm-hmm.
That's gonna be a lot of directors that are on vacation, so it might be a very light agenda to be able to handle that meeting at the regular time.
Okay. Thank you. Mr. Brady?
In light of that information, we should be able to even have a 6:30 meeting and then just go immediately into our evaluation, whether closed or open. So 5:30 even would be an early start, and we're all scheduled to be there anyway. Light agenda, go right into the evaluation. Seems
5:30 or at a special meeting.
5:30 is a special meeting.
Correct,
Yeah.
because we post for the whole year. So 6:30 is our regular time. If you wanna
Mhm.
go at 5:30, you're gonna have a special meeting, but that's only gonna give you an hour before you get. to
So
the
we could
regular.
maybe do a 6:30 and just get through the light agenda and go right into our evaluations. That would be my recommendation.
Commissioner McCarthy, did you have something? Somebody had their hand up over
I
here.
did, I was,
All right.
my concern is I just wanna make sure that we block in somewhere along the way the potential 2-hour meeting that it could take. Yes, there's 20-minute ones, yes, there's 2 hours, sometimes she said they almost went to 3. I just wanna make sure that we block it out so we have time for that, and we're not here till midnight. And that's why I keep thinking we should do it earlier, but people aren't available at 5, so I'm just trying to get it settled, because it's taken a long time to just get a date and a time.
Yeah. Again, I'm gonna be really clear. If you're going for that day to special meeting, then 8 a.m. or I am not going to endorse that day in that meeting. I just won't be there. You guys can do whatever you want.
No, I think it's important you're there too.
So if we're gonna keep pushing that, then I'll just withdraw my attendance for this review.
Mr. Mayor, do we want to move this to July 20th at 4 o'clock? So that way we have the 2-hour window, even if it's a special meeting, we have it done, and then we're moving into the agenda at 6:30. Would that work for everybody?
Yes.
Just let you know it works for me.
I can make 4 o'clock work. So that works for me, but, yeah, Mr. Atwood, you're the other one with a conflicting work schedule.
Yeah, I could make that work. I just don't understand why I can't be at a regular scheduled meeting after we handle our business. It's how it's been for 11 years. I can be there at 4.
Okay.
This was a really, really light agenda, and it's 10 o'clock. And so I think it's wrong to try and have one after a meeting. I mean, nothing's working out, and,
All right, so where are we at, Ms. McCarthy, with your
I would like to make
friendly?
a friendly amendment to my motion to change the special meeting date from July 6th to July 20th, and the time from 8 AM to 4 PM.
All right. Ms. Sanchez, if you could please repeat the motion for us so that we can come to a vote.
I have a bunch of question marks in it, 'cause I didn't get all of them. Postpone the city manager performance review, blah, blah, blah. Scheduled as a special meeting for July 20th, 2026 at 4 PM.
Yes.
Okay. And it still has the portion on it. Now, that doesn't matter, actually. Per Mr. Francis, he'd prefer we do it later than the 18th, regardless of Mr. Womack's preference sooner than that. We're ready to vote. We'll take a roll call. I'm sorry. Mr. Womack.
Thank you. I just want to point out, I do think it's important for the public's sake that this be done in a transparent manner. Ms. McCarthy, appreciate you moving it from 8 until 4 PM, because of course, most people are not able to attend these meetings at 8 AM. And I think the public has the right to know what's happening with the city manager. Thank you.
Very good. Ms. Sanchez. The roll.
Okay, ready?
Yes.
Commissioner Brady,
No.
Commissioner Glistman,
Yes.
Commissioner McCarthy,
Yes.
Commissioner Petrie.
yes.
Commissioner Atwood.
No.
I
Motion.
didn't hear you.
No.
You a no?
What did we have for a count there, Ramona?
3-2,
Motion carries?
correct.
Okay. All right. That brings us to H1, City Manager's Report. Mr. Womack.
So at a previous meeting, Commissioner McCarthy asked that we work on putting together a RFP or RFQ regarding the city attorney. I didn't have the time to do that, but I did have a staff person put together, I think, some billing information for the current city attorney. You'll see that there's been significant cost savings and excellent work, which of course is not reflected in the billings, but excellent work at significant cost savings. And I thought that might be useful information for this board as I continue to work on putting the RFP together. That's all I have, thank you.
Ms. McCarthy.
And I appreciated that Mr. Womack did this. However, the comparison is like apples and oranges. So I try to think of an analogy, because I love analogies, but I couldn't think of one really well. So, the one thing that it shows that one, and I'm not saying good, bad, or indifferent about the quality of work, but one is a flat monthly fee, and it's kind of like if you have a salary. If you work 60 hours a week, you're gonna make the same amount of money. If you work 20 hours a week, you're gonna make the same amount of money. You don't get paid for overtime. Whereas our current attorney is on an hourly schedule, so they're not comparative, it's an apple and an orange. Our current attorney, we do have the billable hours here, and it shows what they are perhaps on a monthly basis. Sometimes 14 hours, sometimes 12 hours, sometimes 19 hours. But there are no billable hours that show how much billable time with the previous city attorney. And that would be more comparative, because you look at their billable hours per month for their flat fee, and then the billable hours for this, for that. So what would happen is, if they're doing in a given month 40 hours, whereas currently in a given month, our attorney is doing 20, the question would be, there's a gap there in the hours, where's that legal work going? Because our city legal services are there, you know, they still happen every day. So I just would ask that if we could, for the next meeting, if we could have the billable hours for the old attorney for those months as well, because that's the comparison. When I did the analogy, it was kind of like, you know, you're comparing an apple to an orange, and I'm just gonna do this analogy. You go looking for a car, and you look at one, and you say, I have two requirements. It has to be green, and it has to have wheels. And there's one for 500, and there's one for 5,000. You go, wow, 500 is a cheap date, it's a good thing, it's a car, let me get it. And then you realize it's a Fred Flintstone mobile. It doesn't have a motor, you have to use your feet, there's no windows, and it has a canvas car. So just looking at the dollars that are billed every month it's a one criteria, and you really have to look at the billables against the dollars to see the hour comparison of what were you paying that fee for what you're paying now. That's all I'm saying.
Mr. Brady?
Yeah, that seems like an extraordinary amount of work that I would hope the staff does not do, because the way that they build was, I understand your desire to see the comparables, but it's just, that's gonna be a mountain of work to try to find, and I don't think that that's the best use of our staff time. I think if we are getting a good report, and we got a good report, and the report is good, and then we can see the price of it, I mean, the billable hours are gonna change, we've been through different lawsuits, we've been through, you know, like, the workload is gonna be different. So I'm sure at some times, more money on a flat rate makes more sense. But that at other times, a flat rate, you're paying for nothing. You're paying, you know, for them to come and sit at the meetings and not necessarily working on cases. So, I don't, you know, I know you weren't giving directions and that you don't speak for the entirety of the board. I just wanna make my opinion known that I don't really want our staff to spend their time doing that.
Ms. McCarthy?
I just want to qualify that the evaluation here, the performance evaluation that is shown, is not the full story, that's all. So just take it as a grain of salt. It's not the full story, it's not a comparative apple-to-apple comparison, because because they're two different billing styles and they compile to different things. It's great that it's done, but it doesn't really give the whole story, that's all I'm saying.
Understood. Any other discussion? All right. Mr. Womack, did you have anything else?
No, thank you. No.
Mr. Mayor, I have something under city manager's report.
Go ahead, Ms. Brady.
I would make a motion to have Bodman PLC provide a written opinion, updating the commission on its work on or by May 31st. And I would seek support for that.
Support.
All right. So we have a motion to have Bodman provide written.
A written opinion, written legal opinion.
On or by?
May 31st, 2026.
All right.
Mr. Mayor, I would just ask, I mean, if we got it earlier, the cutoff date for the agenda for June 1 meeting, might be better to have it before the cutoff for that meeting. I would just seek to amend my date to whatever the cutoff date is, May 27th,
Thursday,
Thursday,
this Thursday.
for the meeting that's 2 weeks away?
If I may, just to clarify, so, the commission members have asked on multiple occasions that we move things forward so that they have it more time. The new cutoff date is, I believe, the Thursday following meetings.
Okay. Well, in that case, it would be this Thursday, if at all possible, and if not by this Thursday, then by May 31st.
All right. Any discussion?
I have, just sitting back here, I have no clue whether or not that's feasible, what they're doing, whatever, so, is there a way to, I guess you ask them, I guess that's what I'm saying, I guess, you know, we did talk about earlier, is there some way we can bring something to the table and get it done? And you did say, you know, hopefully yes, so I guess the best thing is we vote on this and you go to them and you ask them if they can meet the deadline. I don't know, you know what I mean, like, I don't know what all they have to do to get to this deadline, so that's the point.
Mhm.
I mean, we can tell them we want it, I don't know, I'm just,
Mhm.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes, Mr. Brady.
I'm not completely stuck on the deadline. I just want to get the product. I was just trying to get before that June 6th meeting, because that's 30 days before. So as soon as possible is fine with me. I think my motion covers that, even though I kind of fudged through it. The real thing is that if we're going to go into a closed session to discuss that, we need to be trying to move towards that as soon as possible. We can't go into a closed session to discuss anything until we have a written legal opinion. So that's the onus. We're trying to get something from Bodman. They'll know hopefully, and you can take our concerns as you know them to Bodman and get the most detailed report possible for us to take into closed session where it belongs, and everybody can be brought up to speed all together, just like I've been asking for a while. But we're finally, hopefully we can finally move this one forward.
Mr. Francis. There's a strong possibility that Bauman PLC may not be ready or prepared within that time frame. I don't remember there being a motion. There was a motion for engagement. There was a motion for contact liaison. There was a motion for a budget to stick within. I don't remember there being a motion for a deadline, but considering the circumstances which are confidential, I could share with you outside of a public meeting. There is a necessity for due diligence, and I just don't know that we can force somebody to produce something that they're not ready with when we haven't determined, there's no urgency on this thing. I think that there's some assumptions as to what it may relate to, and there's some pressure to push agendas. But I'm trying to figure out, from your perspective as an attorney, as our city attorney, is there a precedent to force a deadline on something that is in process and under its, without giving away strategy and contents, privilege information, that there is discovery that's necessary and other parties that are I think a product is contingent on other factors that are outside of the control of Bodman.
Before I answer that, I want to circle back and just make sure everybody understands. Closed session's appropriate only if that attorney who wrote the opinion is here to go into closed session and discuss it. Just get that out of the way.
Yeah.
Number two, Mayor, I hate to dodge, I don't have enough information to answer that question. I don't, we as attorneys work on deadlines consistently and all the time. Whether they are able to meet a deadline like that, or whether they feel they have sufficient information to meet the deadline, or to finalize the report, or do whatever, I just don't know.
When, for example, when we give you a task and we say, hey, we'd like that by next Monday,
Yeah.
and circumstances arise outside of your control, you're waiting on an answer from something, someone, you're waiting on a certain situation to pass or something, or you just need more time because you're in court all day. What do you do in that circumstance? Do you communicate to us and push out for another time?
Yeah.
And give us some kind of idea where you're gonna land?
I will tell you, as an attorney, not speaking about this issue, I am very appreciative of when someone tells me they need something by a date, so that I know. And I generally will, things happen. I generally will say, yeah, that's doable, that's not doable, or if it might be doable on Monday, but something happens the following Thursday, I'll ask for more time. But my position would be, if you want something by this day, I can get you something, but it won't be complete, or I can't get it to you at all. It's very, and I'm sorry, it's a difficult question for me to answer, because I don't know, I'm not involved in this at all.
It's a complex question because there's a lot of nuance and it's business, right? Business happens and it's not always perfect and sometimes you need more time. And I'm trying to figure out what the motivation or the purpose is for this motion, because I'm not sure that we want to pin Bodman to a time range, and I don't know what the consequence is for that. If we do it and they say, hey, we can't do that. I don't see what the point is without asking them what they can do first. Why would we make a formal action on something when we can just have a conversation with them and ask them what's possible? And it's my understanding, that it's probably not gonna happen in that time frame. So there's things that are being waited on, so. All right, we'll proceed with the discussion. Ms. Petrie.
I just was thinking, when we had the hearing for SDRK, none of us were opposed to pushing things back to accommodate their attorney. And so I think we have to accommodate this attorney. We can't just tell him a date. His attorney wasn't available for his defense. We very graciously said, sure, we'll push it back to whatever works. So I don't think we could give a date without asking the attorney what works, just like we would ask Mr. Francis.
Mr. Brady.
This isn't a attorney, this is our attorney. We absolutely put demands on our attorney.
Right.
That's, Mr. Mayor, there's no need for us to tiptoe around this. We need something. I need something so that I can be an informed decision maker. You've been on the phone calls, and you've been on the phone calls. Have you been on the phone calls? Have you been on the phone calls? Have you been on the phone calls? I have not been on the phone calls. I cannot possibly be an informed decision maker without anything from Bodman. I'm asking for something from Bodman. They have to file with the clerk. I'm okay with it being privileged information. I'm okay going into closed session. That's all fine. But this seems very tied to the city manager's evaluation. As that's just open discussion. You've made that point that this is very much tied to this, and it's really, but I don't know what any of that stuff is. And so I would like for some movement. I don't need a finished product. I would love to see some of the drafts. Drafts. Show me drafts. I can get so much more information out of just, maybe even just some of the information, Mr. Hing, that you've given to them. I would like to know what some of the strategy discussions have been. Okay? You're withholding all of that information. I need to know what at least the strategies have been. I would love to see the drafts. What report can we get from Bogman summarizing what's going on so far so that we can be informed decision makers?
Ms. Glissman?
Mr. Mayor, I don't necessarily see why they have to be at the same time. I think that our evaluation, we are intelligent, smart people, trying to do the best job we can for the city. Mike is our city manager, and it's sitting down with an evaluation. It's not much different than a parent-teacher conference or the principal evaluating a teacher. It's an evaluation, doesn't necessarily have to be with Bodman attorneys. I'm assuming that they are working on something themselves and that can be done at a later date. I don't see why they have to be blended. In fact, if they are blended, it may make things more complicated. And I think that Mr. Womack deserves to hear from the commissioners on his job performance without an extra entity with me.
Mr. Ray?
I don't think that's what I'm arguing at any point. I waited until the manager evaluation was all scheduled and settled. I'm not making a connection between the two things. I believe Mr. Hing is making a connection between the two things. I've been asking for Bodman to come and talk to us over and over and over again, and I still have no product. They don't need to happen at the same time. The only connection that I'm making is that whatever is happening should come out so that we can make informed decisions, after the evaluation. Because after the evaluation, we may have decisions to make, and I would like to be as informed as possible.
Ms. Petrie?
I just have one comment. This is attorney-client privilege, and it was breached tonight by Mr. Brady, and so my personal opinion is I'm concerned about you having information that you want to share, because things have been shared, and I don't know by whom, but they have, and so I take it really serious, the attorney-client privilege.
Mr. Brady, you're asking for information so you can make informed decisions. What decisions do you think you need to make right now? There may not be a decision at all as an outcome of this, but what decision do you think is so intense and urgent that you need to have it your way right away?
6 months ago and $5,000 ago, you told me that there was something pressing that needed neutrality that our attorney couldn't handle. It involved multiple people, and they know who they are.
That's correct.
Whatever that is, I need to know about it so that we can take action on it. We need to take some action on this. If it's warranting a special attorney and thousands of dollars and all of this drama, please let the board do something about it.
Okay. Thank you for answering the question. It does not actually answer the question. It just relitigates your discontent for the process.
If you'd like to re-ask the question, I'll try to answer it again.
No, I will not answer again or ask again because I don't think I will get a better answer. Mr. Brady, there has been an action that to appoint me as the direct contact with Bodman. Up until this time, I have not received a final product. It is in process. There is still information gathering that was happening. They have given me every indication that they will be wrapping it up and will give me some timeline in the near future. However, I think they're still waiting on some things outside of my control and their control. And I think that that's enough information to remain content. I'm content with it, and I'm the one talking with them.
I would have a follow-up question.
I think that am not quite sure where this impassioned pressure is coming from. There's, without information, there's a lot of assumptions being made and connections being tied. Whether, or not you've used confidential information to not only disseminate it inappropriately, but also to make other assumptions. I just don't find that trustworthy. I don't think you're intending to do the wrong thing. I think someone else put it very well, that you think you're doing some kind of social justice, but I just don't see.
Mr. Mayor.
I just don't see it. I just don't see it, and I don't know why you're gonna pressure for things that you've been given sufficient answers on. You keep asking for answers to things that you know can't be answered in a public format. The closed session, you're right, and Mr. Francis is right to point out that the attorney has to be here in order for it to be a closed session. Bodman has, because I've asked them, can we do this at the upcoming, can we do that, do we need a special meeting? And I have received the answer that it is not time. I have heard even recently, we need to pump the brakes. I've heard that there's gonna be out-of-town scheduling for a particular attorney that's actually working directly with us. And so that we're accommodating that schedule. There's been a variety of reasons why I know that they're not prepared and may not be prepared at that time range that you're asking for. I shouldn't have to go into those details in a public meeting. You should know better to protect confidentiality. You don't need some of this information. The rest of your colleagues are content to have the information that is being presented that's appropriate. But somehow you're not, and that just does not make sense. You said that there's a lot of, chaos or whatever the word is that you used, but I perceive that you're the perpetuator of that. And if you don't like it, then maybe you should refrain from it.
Mr. Mayor, I would have a follow-up question that you addressed specifically.
I'm not addressing any more questions concerning
Other question.
Bodman because it has gone beyond,
You said the second meeting in May.
Second.
Here we are.
Question.
called the question.
Second meeting in May. You should have something for us. You
No,
told
you're
us-
done.
You told us.
There's been a call to question.
I don't
We'll
understand
take,
what the
we'll
timeline
take
changes.
a roll call for the call to question.
I'm sorry, who was the maker and support?
It was Mr. Brady, was the,
No,
ma-
no,
Yeah.
Maker would.
oh, the maker is
Call the question.
Petrie for the call to question, support Glissman.
No,
Other way around, Glissman and Petrie support. Roll call.
Commissioner Glissman,
Yes.
Commissioner McCarthy,
Yes.
Commissioner Petrie,
yes.
Commissioner Atwood,
Yes.
Commissioner Brady.
Yes.
Very good. We move to the motion. The motion is for Bodman to provide written legal opinion on or by May 21st or May 30th. Made by Mr. Brady, support by Commissioner Atwood. Roll call.
Commissioner McCarthy,
No.
Commissioner Petrie,
No,
Commissioner Atwood,
Yes.
Commissioner Brady,
Yes.
Commissioner Glissman.
No.
Motion fails. All right. That brings us to City Attorney's report. Mr. Francis.
Nothing specific, Mayor.
Thank you. All right, unfinished business. We have a commission appointment, reappointment of the Pure Building Authority, Mr. Womack, for a term that expires June 1st, 2029. Ms. McCarthy.
I'd like to make a motion to reappoint Mr. Womack to the Lapeer Building Authority. The term expires June 1st, 2029.
Support.
Any discussion? Seeing none? All in favor, aye? Opposed? Motion carries. That brings us to departmental communications we have in our monthly reports, and the second public comment. This time we'll have public comment. I'll remind the rules are 3 minutes. Once you hear the timer, your turn is over. Please return to your seat. Just state your name and residency. Hands. Go ahead.
This is a prayer. Heavenly Father, I pray today that Lapeer would be delivered from destructive spirit of strife that has taken roots across this land. We see strife in our political arena, infiltrating the business marketplace, dividing local churches, tearing families apart. Your word warns us clearly in Proverbs 23 that it is to one's honor to avoid strife, but every fool is quick to quarrel. We know that strife is a weapon of the enemy and a force that destroys unity, weakness, strength, pulls us apart from our divine purpose. So today I asked you to move across this city with healing wind, transform our hearts, uproot every seed of bitterness, anger, pride, and division, and replace it with love, humility, forgiveness, and unity. Teach us as people to walk in peace with one another, and let the bound of unity restores us in our homes, in our cities, from our streets to our government. You are the Prince of Peace, and only you can break the stronghold of strife that has gripped this city. I thank you now for hearing this prayer and moving in the power to bring restoration, healing, and unity back to our city. In the name of Jesus Christ, amen.
Thank you. Any others?
And one more thing.
Sorry.
Proverbs 15:18. Hot-tempered man stirs up strife, but he who is slow to anger quiets contention.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any others? In the back.
Karen Brasheko, I live in Metamora, so you can't possibly think this is a good idea. You can't possibly think that Hing's just excessive, this is insane. I've never seen anything like this before. And we don't need a mayor class from somebody, a very experienced mayor, because, oh, you guys already saw the slides. You don't think he would have personalized that and watched some of your meetings and maybe come up with some really good tips and maybe informed our mayor who thinks he's a strong mayor, even though he's a weak mayor under the charter? It's insane. So I think we should do a performance evaluation of our mayor, these months in. So prime duty is conducting an efficient meeting and working together as a board. I've never seen it done worse, actually, than how Hing is doing it. So that would be an F. I'm going to use letter grades because those are easier for me. Now, if we go aggressive tone today, and I missed like the first hour and 20 minutes, but atmosphere for the public that you conduct. I'm, again, seeing people becoming dysregulated because of your leadership style, your tremendous aggression. And this you don't seem to understand that Robert's rules is to conduct an efficient meeting, a good meeting, but your use of it destroys these meetings because you're sitting there reading it. By the way, when people are praying, I notice that some people pray, when they pray, you're like, respectful and praying, but other people, when they prayed, you were like taking notes last meeting, that kind of thing. Okay, so competencies. I give you an F on the First Amendment and understanding public comment in that. because you gavelled somebody who was giving one and just, said somebody was being a baby. That was really ridiculous. Competence on Robert's rules. You think you're very competent, but again, you're using them all wrong. On your own platform, leadership that unites. Never seen more destructive leadership in a board. Fix what's broken. You are breaking this. I'm so sad for our city tonight. So sad. Clean air, safe streets, can't even get to the other things because all you do is just destroy the atmosphere here. And I won't get to everything, but obviously people skills. Your role is largely social and creating a culture here. But you've gone to meetings at other places and you just stand in the back and like glower and kind of scare people a little bit. Opposite of what a good mayor does. Listening to residents, I mean, you take notes and are like composing your sermon for the end of the meeting while some people are speaking. Separation of church and state, you obviously get an F on that one because you don't even understand the concepts or know the background of it. The need to always be right, obviously, is what's ruling you here, and I've heard that from people who've known you for a lot of years. You need to be right all the time, no matter if you're completely wrong, and you need to be right.
Thank you. Your time is
Destroys
up.
everything here. Thank you.
Thank you. Any others?
Ken Kopnick, Oregon Township. I've watched what went on tonight. The lady that just spoke, previous meetings, I've been standing around in the hallway and heard that one commissioner thought we should make a voodoo doll and stick pins in it. The people should know that there's one commissioner sitting here that didn't know the county commissioners got a paycheck for what they do. I'm watching King Hing. At first, he used to degrade Mr. Brady because he couldn't spit out Robert's rules. Now that he's turned and he can spit them back to you, all you want to do is bang your gavel, find him out of order. That's all you want to do is gavel somebody down that disagrees with you. Mr. Womack has fought and fought and fought. Everybody's concerned that he has confidential information. You folks better understand that somebody else in the building thinks there's enough going on that they will give it to him. You better guard it with your life. Put it in a safety deposit box. I watched a clerk, a question be put to her about when something had occurred and how it occurred. And I saw the panicked look in her face. She didn't want to answer. And the look was fear, retribution. I know you say all of us out here are negative and we walk in darkness and we don't understand. Well, we understand what you guys put out there, the picture that you painted, and the whole room was wrong about the interpretation of what's happening to Mr. Womack? I don't think so. You failed to hear that Mr. Womack said his attorney. He knows what's coming. We know what's coming. I told you at one point I would never say anything in public that I didn't say to your face. I have watched you be misogynistic, sadistic. I've seen you snarl and glare at people, gavel people down, and quite frankly, I think we're being screwed over. I think you are a check-cashing political pissant, and you will always be a political pissant.
You're out of
You can
order.
escort me out, Mr. Chairman.
You can leave. I'll remind the public that we have a policy of public engagement, and we often violate that, and I have patience for it to some extent. When the public is to engage and have citizen participation, we have a rule that they need to remain germane to the topic and to the meeting, that they aren't to disparage commissioners or elected officials. See here. It's not in the room anymore, but I'll say it for posterity's sake. Failure to be germane or by speaking longer than the allotted time, such person shall thereupon be seated until the presiding officer shall have determined whether the person is in order. If a person is so engaged in presentation shall be out of order, or he or she will not be permitted to speak at the same meeting except upon special leave by the commission. The disrupting nature also is mentioned earlier on in this same provision, unrelated to the manner in which the official performs his or her duties or qualifications for the job. Slanderous remarks, which we've heard from both participants that just recently were up at the podium. While I did not gavel one, the other was getting a little bit too out of line. Threats of violence or profane remarks defined as explicit or offensive references to sex or bodily functions that cause a disruption to the meeting. The presiding officer may call to order that person who is being disorderly, and so on. I won't finish the whole thing, it's another paragraph long, but the public needs to recognize this and start abiding by it. Those two are offenders frequently, and we're gonna start calling it out from now on.
Good evening. My name is Sheila Mallon. I'm a resident of Lapeer. I've lived here 35 plus years, maybe more actually, 40 years. What I'm seeing here is really making me sad. I applaud those of you who step up to try and help our community. I myself am very active within the community and put myself in a lot of different positions, which I enjoy tremendously. What I'm seeing here with you guys, it's quite toxic. It really is. And you could do better. I know you could do better. Thank you for those who try. Thank you for speaking up when you need to. But all of you as a whole can do better. I myself am retiring after 33 years in a couple of weeks from a job I loved and I'm grateful for. And I feel like I made a mark in little children's lives. And what I'm watching here from you guys is so frustrating because we deserve better. This town deserves better. And you need to step it up. You did not get a mandate when you were elected. And I want to plead to the residents of Lapeer. We have an opportunity to vote. And not enough people got out and voted. Not enough people got out and ran. I think 18% of Lapeer County voted to put Mr. Hing in. Nobody ran against Ms. Murphy. And so here is a result. We have 400 and some votes say you got Mr. Hing. It's hardly a mandate. There are a lot of us who are concerned about what's going on. We need much more than prayer here. Much more than prayer. We need you to start picking up your step. Really thinking about what you do every day and what you're supposed to be doing and who it matters to, the people of this town. So we have a few years to get through. And I pray that we can get through it. And you find a way to be a more compassionate servant, a more giving servant, more respectful. When the three of you all, you talk about these two being in cahoots, it's very apparent there's another side of people in cahoots. And so it's time to start using your minds and using your brains and thinking what's really important for the people in this town. Because we do have a voice, and please get out and vote and change this dynamic so we can move on and do better.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Me again, Heidi Helfer, Lapeer County, and I have to second what pretty much what Sheila just said. But I spoke at the beginning about the lack of transparency, and that just keeps coming back up again. I mean, the fact that you spoke with the lawyer outside of these premises, yes, it's legal. There's a lot of things that are legal, but it doesn't make it right. I would like to know what that information was that you exchanged. And you're talking about some invoices, which I'm not completely following, that are like supposedly secretive, but if they have to do with us, the community. I think we should have more information than is actually being given to us right now, because it just sounds like there's a whole lot that doesn't actually square with the charter that people are doing or trying to do. So I really hope that it become more forthright in sharing this information that needs to be shared. Thanks.
Thank you. Anyone else? Seeing none, we'll move on to closing comments by the commissioners. Ms. Glissman.
Thank you very much. I'm going to keep it very short, although I would like to say a whole bunch, but God bless you all sitting here and for this very long meeting again. I just want to thank Chief Howe from the police department. It's Police Week, and I want to thank them for the work that they do in Lapeer, and they are greatly appreciated, and I appreciate Chief Howe especially. Thank you so much. And other than that, there was a cartoon in the internet that I was privy to look at, and I have to tell you, even though this is very serious business, there can be people who find some things very funny, and I've been in politics a long time, and I am a duck. So you can make fun of me if you like, and talk about me and the lilacs, and I am proud, very proud of what I am doing for the city with the planting of lilacs. Next year we will have a lilac festival, and if you want to call me Linda Lilac, that's just fine. I appreciate it very much, and it's nice to know that in that cartoon somebody recognized the work I'm trying to do outside of this meeting for the city and for America 250, so that we can have some fun things to do in the city. And yeah, I just look forward to the things that we can do. The meetings aren't fun, but we can rise above it and do a lot of good things for the city. Thank you.
Mr. Brady.
I'm gonna continue to do what I know to be right, which is to call stuff that I see. I wish that we weren't arguing with each other. It's just that every time I try to make a valid point, he's got something to say about it. We can't follow any decorum, because apparently when I say something, I broke the rules, but then turns right around and goes the other way. You all know what the problem is. You all know who the problem is. You all know it. I don't have to defend that. You all know who the problem is. If I have responsibility in that, I will take responsibility for that, but I cannot sit back and see a bill with my tax dollars and your tax dollars being paid that nobody knows about. I can't do it. It's not about the size of the bill. I get it. There are other attorney bills, $23,000 bills. I get that. It's the consequences that this work will have. And I get it. I'm making an assumption. But boy, it's kind of apparent that at least 2 people up here don't like Mike. Okay? Now 4 people have said, well, why would we fire him? I don't know. I don't know why. But I'm not intending to. It's not up to me. There is no excuse for the toxicity that Mayor Hing is using.
You're out of order.
Then I yield.
Thank you.
That's our assumption.
Mr. Atwood.
Yeah, I'm definitely not trying to add to any issues we're having up here. Again, if I didn't add the motion to the agenda to postpone the evaluation, the agenda was gonna be approved, and there was gonna be unless there was another motion gonna be added somewhere in this agenda, it was not on the agenda. I'm trying to help the commission here. The information that we have, multiple emails saying when the evaluation is gonna be due. I'm not trying to get anybody in trouble. I don't wanna see anybody fail. again, it's all the process and things that are being done that irritates me, and gets to my core, because I might not get all this right, but I've been doing this for a very, very long time. You know, I had hair back then. And I don't know everything. I don't need to know everything. But I know that there is a process that's been done. And so if I ever buck the system, which I have before in years past, with just about every mayor, with just about every commissioner I can think of, it's not to get anybody in trouble. It's not to spread toxicity throughout the community. It's because of the process, I feel, now I could be wrong, but the process is not going about it right. It's embarrassing for me, staff, management. I understand Mr. Womack's frustration, because it is about honor, but it's also, this is his job. That's how he makes money. If he goes to get another job, people can watch YouTube, they can watch a lot of stuff. This is how he generates money for him and his family and his wife. I've been doing this long enough where I know city managers will not get hired coming from dysfunctional boards, or if there's issues when they leave. It's very difficult for them to find work. It's a very hard job, just like being an elected official is a hard job. We face scrutiny. Everything we say, that's what we signed up for. It's a public position. Every word we say is public. Our actions is public. Our facial expressions are public. And that can be judged by the public. It doesn't mean the right and their assumptions or anything like that. But we are judged by the public. Ultimately, the people have the power. And that's how it's always been. And I'm not trying to stir the pot. And I'm not trying to get people in trouble. But I've been through this long enough. I've seen it happen. I've been there. And it's not okay. It is not okay the way we're treating our city manager, who runs our multi-million-dollar organization. You think it's easy for him to do his job when he gets conflicting information from the mayor, from commissioners? How does he lead this organization well when he probably has a hard time sleeping at night? That is not good for any organization. I don't care what organization you're in. If someone loses that competitive edge, unappreciated, and just doesn't feel welcome in his job, I've been there. We've all probably been there when we felt less than, or, there's certain processes to encouraging our staff, which is city manager and the city attorney. That's who work for us. I would hope that we continue conversations with Mr. Womack, as I speak with Mr. Womack on a daily basis, weekends, weeknights. Whenever I see something, I call Mr. Womack. That is the appropriate action. I don't care if it's out of hours, weekends, I'm texting him, I'm calling him, I'm having conversations with him. If I think he did something wrong, I'll let him know. I don't wait till an evaluation. I did this with Mr. Curbison. I don't wait till the evaluation to evaluate my city manager. I say, okay, you're doing a great job. You deserve a raise, or you deserve a bonus. I use that opportunity to do constructive criticism. This is what you need to work on. These are the areas I think you're slacking in. It's constructive. It's helping him along the way in his path. He is our leader of this organization. He can't effectively do his job when he's getting conflicting information. Staff is confused. If the evaluation doesn't prove it, that staff is confused on the processes and what we're supposed to do. The Bodman bill, confusion, everything's changing. and there's no direction given from the city council. So I would urge you, if you want to give the staff direction, please make a motion, direct the city manager in a motion at a public meeting. Do not let the mayor continue to confuse staff and our city manager through email or however he communicates with our city manager. City manager works for the commission, not the mayor. It's never been that way.
Mr. Atwood,
I'm still speaking.
you're characterizing my actions that have never occurred, and that breaks our policy. So either I'm gonna call you out of order, or you can
I
you can
believe I have
refrain from the
First Amendment right.
mischaracterizations.
I'm not mischaracterizing
You
anything.
are.
I'm actually telling the truth.
No, you're not.
Yeah, I have emails to prove it, Mr. Mayor. I don't appreciate how you speak to our employee or our city attorney. That is the truth.
No, I don't think I don't think it's true.
I please have the floor. Have the floor.
I'll let you finish, but you're gonna refrain from characterizing.
I'm not mischaracterizing
My
anything,
interactions
sir.
with staff.
I have emails to prove it. It is the truth, and I'm
There-
requesting
You
and
can't have
asking.
proof of something that doesn't exist. Just finish what your concluding
Please,
statements
all
are
that
without
I'm saying
mischaracterizing things.
is please respect the legislative body, who the commission is, who directs the city manager, the chief administrator. Respect the roles and understand legislative and administrative. You do not cross that line. You don't tiptoe on the line. You don't skate around in the gray area. It creates confusion. There's a reason why that is set up. Okay? So please, follow the process. Dysfunction happens in an organization when communication is poop. And that's what this is. You have two commissioners that don't have a clue what the Bodman bill's about, what he's working on. We've requested multiple times to go into closed session, which you said in December that you would oblige if the commission wanted to. That has not happened. So we are at the mercy of the commission. I notice the process is different on this bill. I bring it up at a commission meeting. I'm not trying to get anybody in trouble. Something changed. And that is the process that I have an issue with. When something changes and we, the legislative body, didn't change it, that means there's a breakdown in communication, staff is confused, our city manager is confused. So please, I'm asking the commission, please, if you have something, make a motion, give direction, and whether I lose the vote or not, please, give direction to our city manager, who is the head chief administrator of our organization, so he can effectively do his job. That's in the charter. Whether or not that is happening, I'm not the judge, but I'm just saying, from my perspective, things are not correct.
Ms. McCarthy.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. First thing I want to do is I want to thank all of you for your patience and attendance tonight, because it's long. Second of all, I want to let everybody know that at the last meeting, I had stated that the Friends Historical Courthouse meeting would be last week on Wednesday. We had a scheduling change. So it is this Wednesday, the 20th, at 4 p.m. at the County Commissioners' chambers in the lower part of the Lapeer Courthouse. So we hope you'll come. We'd love to let people know what we're doing. And I really like tonight that we heard about the different events, the prayer night. I was not able to come, the Dash Bash. There's always so many things happening in the city of Lapeer. We think we're a sleepy little community, but if you look at my calendar that I keep with all the special events, we're booking. We got a lot of stuff happening. So we are an active little community. And the last thing I would say is that it's unfortunate there's chaos here. There's frustration, there's tension. I'm only going to say one thing that kind of, when you have a certain situation, whatever that situation is, and it suddenly falls under a veil of confidentiality, things go differently. They just do. It's a legal thing. It just is. And so when the attorney, sends in a bill that says this is confidential, whatever, and they do a cover sheet on it, that's what it is. I'm not getting them, whatever. I'm just saying, it's a different situation. And so I'm looking forward to it being resolved and behind us. And I just ask every one of you to please have patience while it gets worked through. It's taking a long time, I get it. It just is. So thank you everyone for coming in. Please, again, patience. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Mr.
Ms.
Womack,
Petrie.
thank you, Mr. Mr. Atwood, sorry, and thank you, Ms. Brady.
Ms. Petrie.
Oh, staff, thank you so much. I'm apologizing profusely. Sam, Samantha, thank you, and I'm so sorry that this was your first meeting that you had to sit through. And I was taught that your words matter, and you're accountable for your own words and actions, and that people will hold you accountable, but in the end, we have I have a God that I worship. That's who I close my eyes to, the one that I worship, and he will judge at the end, and that's it. Please get, like, I'm gonna pray for, like, speed sleep tonight, so I'm gonna ask that he double your rest. The end.
Mr. Womack.
For my friend Linda over there, I'll say May 18th, 1980 was the Mount St. Helens eruption.
I remember it.
For my staff, thank you. You guys always kick ass. I appreciate that. Oh, I apologize. You kick some other word that is not that word. And I will also apologize, especially to Ms. Fountain, who unfortunately this was your introduction to the City Commission's operations. Hopefully we haven't scared you away in the first couple of weeks. I don't know what else to say. I'm sorry. Thank you.
Thank you. It's very challenging, you know, when the meetings get this way, and I understand everybody's frustration, and yes, we can do better. Sometimes things are out of people's control. We can't control how other people respond in their frustration or their disagreement. However, we can take control of ourselves. What the public and some commissioners seem to forget at times is that while we are up here and we are diverse and we do disagree at times, there's an order, there's a hierarchy, and that's not respected. It's wanton rebellion and disrespect.
Point of order.
And
Point of order, how is that different from what you stopped me from saying?
because I'm not actually calling someone out by name, as you've graciously used my name in my office to attack and
You just
mischaracterize.
said commissioners. You're clearly talking about me.
I'm talking about all of us, okay?
Sorry, my
So-
mistake.
Just because you disagree with something doesn't mean you get to use a point of order.
You pointed
It
order.
has to be based on something.
You pointed order to me.
And when I did, I read the rule, and it was based on something.
Same.
You were explicitly calling me out, okay? And that's the rule. It's interesting when we have these moments, because we seem to think that disregard for order and hierarchy is the way we get heard for our disagreement, and that's just not how it works. Even if you disagree with the leader or who your boss is or your supervisor, there's a level of professional acumen that should be followed. And that just doesn't happen in this room. There's an air, not just of strife as one has identified and prayed for all of us, but there's an air of rebellion. There's an air of entitlement. Confidentiality, just because you feel entitled and that's the society we are in these days, does not give you the right to privileged information when you want it, how you want it. there's a process to be respected, as Mr. Atwood has pointed out. And unfortunately, things get pointed out like that, but they're not, they're one-sided. It's a double-sided conversation. It's a one-sided conversation. And we need to do better of listening to our own words. It's hard to come to a place of peace when we're unwilling to hear the other people or respect them. In moments when public discourse turns personal, and it's been personal for quite some time in these meetings, mostly aimed at myself, I find myself returning to a line from Viktor Frankl, who survived 4 concentration camps. He wrote that the last of human freedoms is to choose one's attitude in any given set of circumstances, to choose one's own way. That is the freedom I intend to exercise from this chair. I choose to be joyful in adversity, which brings about the perseverance and maturity that I desire, and which gives my life meaning and purpose. I will let the work that I do, not the noise, speak for the office that I hold. Meeting adjourned.